Did you know that a boring staff meeting can result in a multi-billion-dollar empire? In 2022, the bubble tea market hit $2.4 billion. And by 2027, we're talking $4.3 billion. But how did a random experiment in Taiwan become a global phenomenon? From simple tea shops to global chains, from street corners to shopping malls. This story isn't just about tea. It's about how one drink became everyone's favorite around the world. Let's travel back to 1980s Taiwan. Two tea shops are about to change beverage history forever. And like all great origin stories, there's some drama involved. Shop number 1, Chun Shui Tang. The owner, Liu Hanqie, had just returned from Japan with a wild idea. What if we serve tea cold? Mind-blowing, right? But the real magic hadn't happened yet. Enter Lin Xiu Hui, their product development manager. During a staff meeting in 1988, she got bored. We've all been there. She had some traditional tapioca dessert with her, something called Fen Yuan, and then she did something crazy. She dumped it into her iced tea. Everyone tried it, everyone loved it. And just like that, bubble tea was born. Or was it? Because shop number 2, Hanlin Tea Room in Tainan, has a different story. Their owner, Tu Tsung-hee, claims he invented bubble tea in 1986. After his restaurant failed, he was desperate for a new business idea. Walking through a local market called Abo Liao, he spotted something interesting: white tapioca balls. These traditional Taiwanese snacks that would change everything. Added them to tea, and boom. What he called pearl tea was born. So who really invented it? Well, that's still debated in Taiwan, but one thing's for sure: it's about to become bigger than anyone imagined. Now let's talk about what makes bubble tea, well, bubble tea. Back in the day, it was pretty simple. Hot Taiwanese black tea, tapioca pearls, condensed milk, and a bit of syrup or honey to sweeten the deal. But then it gets interesting. Those tapioca pearls, they weren't always the big black ones we know today. They were actually made from the cassava root, a plant that's not even native to Taiwan. It came from South America during Japanese colonial rule. And those bigger pearls we know today, the ones called Boba or black pearls, they changed everything. Made the drink more fun, more chewy, more Instagram-worthy. And before you knew it, bubble tea wasn't just a drink, it was an experience. The 1990s hit and bubble tea started spreading like wildfire. First stop, East Asia. Japan, South Korea, China. Everyone wanted a piece of the action. People were lining up for 30 minutes just to get their boba fix. Think like iPhone launch day but for tea. But the real explosion? That happened when bubble tea hit the United States. Taiwanese immigrants brought it to California in the 1990s. First in little restaurants, then in food courts in places like Arcadia. By the way, does anyone remember Fantasia Coffee and Tea in Cupertino? That was one of the first standalone bubble tea shops in America. And then came the chains. Tapioca Express, Quickly, Lollicup, Happy Lemon. They all popped up in the late 90s and early 2000s, bringing Taiwan to Main Street, USA. If you're enjoying this video, please do us a quick favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us bring you more stories like this. Now, after coming to America, bubble tea became more than just a drink. Way more. It became what they called Boba life. In 2013, two Chinese-American brothers even made a music video about it. They called it Boba life. But it wasn't just about the drink. It was about identity, about being Asian American, about having something that was uniquely theirs. Meanwhile, in Taiwan, bubble tea became a national icon. And we're talking serious business here. In 2020, they made April 30th National Bubble Tea Day. That's right, an entire day dedicated to bubble tea. They even considered putting it on their passport design. Now that's national pride. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. How do you actually make this stuff? It's not as simple as you might think. First, the tea. Different teas need different treatment. Green tea, that needs water at 176 to 185 degrees Fahrenheit. Brew it for 8 to 10 minutes. But black tea, crank that temperature up to 203 to 212 Fahrenheit and let it brew for 15 to 20 minutes. That's how you get the perfect sweetness. Now those famous pearls. They start out hard and colorless. Boring, right? But then comes the magic. Cook them up, add some sugar, and suddenly they're those chewy, dark pearls we all know and love. Here's a fun fact. Most bubble tea shops won't sell pearls after 24 hours. You know why? It's simply because they start getting hard. They lose that perfect chewy texture, and no one wants tough boba. Fast forward to today, the bubble tea world has gone crazy, and I mean that in the best way possible. Remember when bubble tea was just tea with pearls? Those days are long gone. Now we've got cheese foam on top. Yeah, cheese, but it's not like the cheese on your pizza. It's this creamy, slightly salty foam that neutralizes the bitterness of the tea. That's what the shops say anyway. Then there's popping boba, little spheres filled with fruit juice. Bite into them and boom, flavor explosion. Want something different? How about grass jelly, aloe vera, red beans? And don't even get us started on the customization. Sugar levels, ice levels, they measure that stuff like scientists. Want 70% sugar? You got it. 25% ice? No problem. It's like building your own drink from scratch. Let's talk money because these numbers are wild. Remember that $2.4 billion market value in 2022? That's just the beginning. By 2027, we're looking at $4.3 billion. But China takes it to another level. In 2019, their bubble tea shops made $20 billion. That's more than some countries' entire GDP. In China, people drink bubble tea 5 times more than coffee. Think about that for a second. In a world dominated by Starbucks and fancy coffee shops, bubble tea is winning by a lot. The bubble tea craze has left its mark everywhere. In Japan, teenagers invented a new word, tapioca. It means to drink bubble tea. It was such a big deal that it won first place in a survey of Japanese teenage slang in 2018. They even opened a bubble tea theme park in Harajuku. I mean, come on, a theme park for tea? Well, that's when you know you've made it. Singapore, they've been riding the bubble tea wave since 1992. Had their ups and downs, but in 2018, the craze hit harder than ever. Thanks to new brands, thanks to social media, thanks to people's endless love for those chewy pearls. Now, it's not all sweet news. In 2019, Singapore's Mount Alvernia Hospital had something to say. Hey, maybe check what's in your bubble tea. Here's what that means. The tea itself, pretty healthy. Green tea, black tea, good stuff. Can help with heart disease, diabetes, even cancer. But then you add non-dairy creamer, extra sugar, and those beloved tapioca pearls. Suddenly your healthy tea isn't so healthy anymore. Those pearls alone, they can make up half the calories in your drink. And that non-dairy creamer contains something called hydrogenated palm oil. Not exactly health food. So what's next for bubble tea? Because the industry is not slowing down, but it is changing towards a healthier version. Health-conscious options are popping up everywhere. Lower sugar choices, natural ingredients, organic tea bases, plant-based milk alternatives, and the environment, that's the next frontier. Shops are switching to biodegradable straws, using eco-friendly cups, working with sustainable suppliers. Some brands are even going high-tech with bubble tea vending machines, mobile ordering apps, even robot baristas. So what started as a simple experiment in Taiwan has become a global phenomenon, a multi-billion-dollar industry, a cultural icon, and most importantly, a drink that brings people together. Whether you're in Taipei or Texas, Tokyo or Toronto, that first sip of bubble tea is always special. The tea hits your tongue, the pearls bounce around your mouth, and for a moment, you're part of something bigger, part of a global community, united by our love for this weird, wonderful drink. From a simple experiment in Taiwan to a global phenomenon worth billions, bubble tea isn't just a success story, it's a revolution in a cup. Next time you're sipping your favorite boba drink, remember, you're not just drinking tea with chewy balls, you're drinking a piece of beverage history. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.